Hello, good evening, and welcome to Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, coming to you live from our studio here at Desawe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Coming up this evening, Kade Senior High Technical School or students who assaulted a teacher over examination malpractice likely to face 6 months imprisonment after President Mahama's interest in the case. We have details as NAT says the ruling is not punitive enough. Also coming up, lawyer for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says they will not hesitate to appeal any unfavorable ruling that comes out of the hearing of his client in the U.S. over immigration issues. Plus, persistent disregard for fire safety regulations, particularly among traders operating in informal settlements, threatening war against market fires. Details of all of these and more coming up for the next 1 hour, including business and sports. Do be a part of the show. Let's hear from you on the many stories we have for you this evening. This is 3FM 92.7. You're live on Hot Edition. Let's settle for the details of our stories now. We are starting from issues regarding education. Now, the Kade Magistrate Court, presided over by His Worship George Davis Ofori, has fined 4 of the young boys who assaulted the Kade Senior High School technical teacher an amount of 3,800 Ghana cedis each. Out of the fine, 1,800 Ghana cedis is to be paid to the court, while 2,000 Ghana cedis will be paid as compensation to the victim. The court took into account the suspect's young age and the lessons they claim to have learned whilst in police custody to give the mitigated amount or the mitigated sentence. The viral footage showed students attacking a math teacher after he reportedly prevented them from cheating during an examination. President Mahama voiced his disappointment that despite the police report, the students faced no formal disciplinary action after their parents reached an out-of-court settlement. The court, however, ruled that failure by any of the boys to pay the amount, which is 3,800 Ghana cedi fine, will result in a 6-month prison sentence. Edward Osai Asari is Nagrat Kede Zonal Chairman, and he in a jiffy will speak to another Nagrat official, but let's listen to what Edward Osai Asari has been saying regarding this particular issue.
The judge has come out with his ruling already. I think he looked at the whole issue according to the law. He worked within the confines of the law. So we are happy. We would have been happier if the sentence had been stiffer than he gave. Yes, but we would have been happier if the sentence had been stiffer than he gave. Yes, because we think that it should serve as a deterrent to others. So when everyone sees the punishment to be hard, we cannot complain a bit tough, I think it will serve that purpose better. However, he worked within
Nagrat Kede Zonal Chairman. Let's speak to the Eastern Regional Chair of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Nagrat Awuno Yevu Godwin. A very good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Good evening, thank you very much.
I'm sure you've been following this issue and must have heard the sentence that was handed down to the students. The court says that they should pay a specified amount of 3,800 cedis, failure of which they will serve 6 months in prison. What do you make of this ruling?
Oh, thank you very much. I think, as my KD chairman said, we're okay with the ruling that came. Though we're expecting much severe punishment than what we have, but I think the judge knows the reason why he gave out the ruling, and once they will sign a bond to be of good behavior for 12 months, it's okay. And then paying a fine of 1,800 to the courts, and each of them paying 2,000 Ghana cedis as a compensation to the victim is also okay. And even going for remand for 2 weeks is also a form of deterrent to other students to learn from them. Yeah.
you mentioned stiffer punishment. You would have wished, or I mean, from what you are saying and what the zonal chairman for KBLC said, it's like you are just accepting what the judge has said. You would have preferred stiffer. But in your opinion, what would have been an appropriate sanction for students taking the law into their own hands and attacking a teacher who was doing the right thing? But what would have been better in terms of punishment?
Oh, I think as a union, we cannot give a judgment, or we cannot prefer a judgment on the students, because whatever comes out from the court of jurisdiction, whatever ruling that comes, everybody accepts it. And that is why we are saying that when the president came in, that he was expecting something that would serve as a custody, they might have shown some remorse. So all these things would have been communicated to the judge by coming out with his conclusion. So we are okay with it. We are okay with it.
Now, going forward, how can we prevent a recurrence of this particular kind of indiscipline by the students? Because we know that these people probably were the ones that have been caught because maybe someone was recording, and there's a possibility similar actions must have happened and there is no evidence to prove, So in case it does happen again, or someone comes up with such an accusation of being attacked by students for doing a wrong thing, what was the plan or suggestion from NAGRAT to prevent a recurrence of such an event?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think as I indicated, Director General of Ghana Education Service, I think his team, they have put in place a lot of mechanisms that will prevent some of these things. And also the school management have also put in place some of them. But we have urged our teachers that when they are being threatened by students, either verbally, physically, whatever, they should first report to the school management for records to be kept. And then they give the police also information about what has happened, so that the police will then come in to take their statement, so that in case any of that thing happens to them on their way at their various homes or whatever it is, then the law will take its course. But I think as we going forward, I think the various schools will be engaging the students and using the KD issue as a yardstick, where those students will be informed that anybody who flout the school rules, who goes against the teachers or attack the teachers, assault them, this will be the same yardstick that will be measured by the court. And then I think we are all praying, because the children are our own children, so we are also praying that they will give a listening ear to whatever messages the school management will give to them, so that they will refrain from such act. It's not easy. Though at the premises of the court, the parents, the family members who they were jubilating, because they knew that the 3,800, if they're able to pay, their awards will be free, and then they'll go home and then maybe talk to them as to how to be a very good student, and then even signing a bond. To me, for 12 months, is enough. It's enough, yeah.
Right. So I get the feeling that you followed the court proceedings today, which means you because I hear you talk about the reaction.
There, but I decided not to engage the media. I was there.
And so the parents were happy. They preferred this ruling or sentence by the judge, so they were expressing happiness and appreciation to the judge for this punishment.
Yes, please. Yes, that's the sentiment that we got. You could see some of the talking that they were doing behind the scenes. We thank God that our case were not sent back to prison for the amount that they were able to raise it and pay. So you could see they were a little bit relieved. Yeah.
But two final questions there, you leave. Did you get the sense that the parents were remorseful and wished that their wards wouldn't do this again? Did they show any sign of ensuring that, as parents who are supposed to be partners of teachers to raise future leaders, were they also disappointed in what the kids had done, and for that reason showed signs that henceforth they will ensure the kids don't do that? Did you get that from the parents?
Yeah, I think the woman whom they were first remanded into prison custody, who mentioned the name of the son that you kill me, Ubekumi, was remorseful today. He had a chat with me that the world will be a changed person out of this. And others. So I think when they get home, they'll be able to talk to them.
Okay.
The best thing that we are all, they are all future leaders. But what actually happened, if the teacher had not escaped, maybe we wouldn't have even see him alive as we are seeing him today. Because when you look at the video, you could see that the student meant to harm the teacher to the level that they want, but they wanted. But maybe the teacher also, when you look at his structure, he was able to maneuver his way and got out of the hook and ran towards the house. And when he banged the main entrance door, and some of the family members came out, that they ran through the cemetery there.
Right. Okay. And my final question, Mr. Yevu-Godwin, would be, has this, in general, affected teacher morale in Kede and its environs? Did you get the sense the day it happened and when the news went public that the teacher had been attacked, were other teachers apprehensive? Were they concerned about this, that it could be them? And are there plans to ensure that their safety is guaranteed from NAGRAT's position?
Thank you very much. I think when the video became viral, teachers were apprehensive, as we said. And when we went to the Kede Senior High School, in actual fact, the teachers were mobilizing themselves to harm the final year student who was there. And without the intervention of Director General and then the Eastern Regional Director of Education, NAGRA team that went there, that we were able to calm the teachers down, that something positive will be done, the IGP, and then the Director General. And when they heard that those students have been arrested, in actual fact, they were happy. They were really happy that at least the law will catch up with those students. And behold, when they were giving the remand sentence, the teachers were happy that justice is being served. And today, too, whatever happened at the court, they have taken it into good faith. Though individually, they might have different perspective about the ruling that came. But I would say that at least they've taken them through something. Because going to prison for a remand 2 weeks is not easy. Though some of us haven't been there before, but when you listen to those ex-convicts, when they tell you the stories about the confined over there, you could see that it's not an easy place to be. Yeah.
Right. So did I hear you say when the video started going viral, the teachers were quite peeved and wanted to also retaliate? Yes.
At Kede Senior High School, they wanted, really. Had it not been the Director General's intervention, Regional Director of Education, and that of NAGRAT, and then the District Director of Education, it would have been a very nice thing there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that you made time to speak with us this evening, and pleasure talking to you as always.
I'm also very grateful to you, sir.
Right, and you heard the Eastern Regional National Chair of NAGRAT, Awuno Yevu-Godwin, who has just been giving his side of what they make of the court's ruling, where some sanctions have been handed down to the students who attacked a teacher. And clearly from all observations, they are saying that they are quite okay with the court's ruling and are hopeful that this will serve as a deterrent to the culprits and then also other students who in the future might want to walk this particular path, that it would not go down well with them. So they receive this particular ruling from the court in good faith and are hoping that the parents of the wards or their guardians will be able to continue with the discipline at home so that the students will be of good behavior. And now that they've also signed a bond to be of good behavior, that would also inure to the general benefit of the student population and then those particular ones who were caught in the unfortunate event of attacking a teacher who was preventing them from doing the wrong thing. Well, that's education that we are hoping will go a long way to help the future generation. This is still 3FM 92.7. You're listening to Hot Edition. We are live from our studio here at Adisanwe Kanda in Accra. I'm sure many of you are interested also in our big story having to do with what's happening in the United States of America. We'll take you there shortly to find out how Ken Ofori-Atta's appearance in court played out and what the outcome is. The lawyers are already flexing their muscles, saying that they will appeal any unfavorable ruling that is given, especially if it goes against Ken Ofori-Atta. And for this ruling in court today, or what is expected in the court today, it is to decide whether or not Ken Ofori-Atta should be deported or allowed to stay in the U.S. It will depend solely on the argument that his lawyers put forth, because he is currently in detention for visa violation or immigration violation. We'll update you when we get to that story. But do know that we are also streaming this bulletin on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can join us there if you are on the move on your mobile devices. Just look for 3FM 92.7, and you can send your comments as well on the stories that we are discussing on Hot Edition, and we'll be happy to let the rest of the world know what you're thinking. Now, a major fire outbreak has destroyed more than 50 makeshift structures serving as shops and living spaces at the Holy Garden Market near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, raising fresh concerns over fire safety compliance in crowded market centers. The Ghana National Fire Service says that the blaze once again exposes the persistent disregard for fire safety regulations, particularly among traders operating in informal settlements. Stanley Nibleu visited the scene and has come through with his report.
Tuesday morning's disaster is the second fire outbreak to hit the area in 2 weeks. The inferno swept through dozens of makeshift structures, boards, and food vending bars. While some traders managed to sell a few of their wares, food vendors were not unfortunate, losing meals already prepared for sale. To the far, Akos is one of the affected food vendors in the enclave.
Yes, mini anti mini market, and I'm a bad friend. Me say, me indeed, Johnny, I mean, Jina, Memlana, hanging.
Eyewitnesses' account paints a worrying picture of the recurring fire situation at the busy commercial hub. The timely deployment of firefighters largely prevented the situation from worsening, though not without significant difficulty. Supported by youth groups, firefighters were able to confine the fire after about 3 hours of rigorous operations. 5 fire tenders and a water tanker were deployed to the scene. However, overcrowding of makeshift structures hampered access for fire engines, slowing firefighting efforts. The MP for Ayawaso Central was present to commiserate with the people.
It would be wrong for me to come and say that we are sacking them tomorrow. No, let us finish dealing with the actual problem now. When we finish dealing with the actual problem, we'll have an engagement with them and let them know that you can't do this, or you can't do this, it's going to be a collective decision from all of us.
The Traders Association revealed that although 3 fire hydrants exist within the enclave, all were covered by permanent structures, further complicating firefighting operations.
Papa na yabetress building this water hydrant so na mom ka water hydrant ya block on the easy ka water tender bia bedru say na say jesh wa say easy to tap water there and then quench fire, but this is the situation we find ourselves.
The public relations officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, DO2 Desmond Aka, says urgent action is needed to restore sanity and prevent future occurrences.
This is news to us, and therefore we would investigate this kind of assertion by a section of the public. And so we would go into it and then ensure that the available hydrant which the structure is sitting on is made available for our use.
The exact cause of the fire is yet to be established by the Ghana National Fire Service. As investigations continue, affected traders are counting their losses and appealing for support, while authorities renew calls for strict enforcement of safety regulations at informal markets. The recurring fires at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange area serve as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by congestion, poor planning, and disregard for fire safety measures.
And you heard that report by Stanley Nibleu, who was at the fire scene. Let's now go to the phone lines and speak to Karim Adama, who is one of the leaders of the Holy Garden Market Traders Association. Mr. Adama, good evening. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Good evening, sir.
What's the current situation around the market area? We are told that the fire has actually been put out, but what can you report from the place?
All right, so thank you very much for your time. And let me first of all take this opportunity to greet all your listeners and the entire... The entire listeners of...
3FM, okay.
Please, this is what happened. I'm Karim Adama, one of the leaders of the Holy Gardens Traders Association. The fire actually didn't gut the market of Holy Garden Traders Market. The place that the fire gutted is called Amankwa Garden. Amankwa Garden. The place is an individual place. It belongs to an individual. Somebody's property, but there's a little bit of litigation on that land, and the family had one or two issues. So individual from nowhere came to settle on the land for a very long time. Hello?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, very well. So individuals from different places came to settle on the land for a very long time, while the family who owns the land are going with their litigation issues. Yes, the place is a bit crowded, not the market, and it's also a place where people are habitating. People are habitating while doing other business, doing business as well. We have people who cook there, people who sleep there, and people who do other things. When it becomes like that, you wouldn't choose to put up any permanent structure. So most of the structures there are just wooden structures, because they assume that at any time, if the family happens to finish the litigation, they can come and move them from there at any time. Right. So nobody puts anything permanent on that land. So most of the structures there are temporary structures.
Okay, and what's the level of devastation? So if you say, for instance, the entire place that is part of your association, would you say maybe 10% got burnt, or 20 or 50%, or maybe 80%?
Well, I would say about 70% of the yard.
Wow, that's quite big.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm saying that's quite big.
Where?
I'm saying that 70% is quite big for the fire to have destroyed that many.
That's true. About 70% of the place got fire, and that was it.
Okay. Would you agree with those who say that because there is recurrent fire, like this is not the first time, we are told this is about the third in 2 or 3 weeks, would you advise that they clear the whole place so that they can put up proper structures?
No, I wouldn't. The thing is that where the fire got the first time, that place even belongs to a Chinese man who some time ago wanted to even eject there's what construct the market. So that place is not where the fire got the earlier. I think last month, it's not part of this people's area. That is the same Chinese man place two times fire has got there. Even that place is he claims that everything has been put up properly structured. But fire got the place twice before this was over. This it's a slum. But I wouldn't advise that they should be cleared. What I would rather advise is that authorities can come in, negotiate with them, because that's where they have stayed all their life, living there, working and then making their livelihood. So if it's possible for authorities to sit with them together with the principal and way forward as to what they can put up, so that maybe they can really find a place, put the structures well, that maybe in case of any future occurrence like this, there can be easy way of going into to extinguish fire or something like that. But you see, let me also this clear here. The firefighters today did everything, they did their best, but you see, there's a fire station just opposite to. There's a fire station, a second house fire station there. The fire station just directly opposite where the fire occurred. But the fire tender that doesn't work. They have a fire tender which doesn't work. So the fire tender will not move.
The fire tender does not work.
It doesn't work. So it will not move. You have to call from the headquarters to come. Because it doesn't move.
Karim, hello, Karim. Please reposition yourself. The line is becoming difficult to hear you. So please position yourself. And you are telling us that although there's a fire station opposite where the fire occurred, the tender there was not working?
The tender doesn't work. The tender doesn't move.
Wow. So they needed assistance from elsewhere?
They called for assistance from elsewhere. Even the in charge of fire, national, I don't know what the name for it, the FS1 was here.
Okay.
FS1 was here.
And go on.
Yes, and another thing too, the same place, there's one Chinese man whom I just told you about, that fire started this place just about a month ago, who has built on a site that was in a water hydrant. We have complained this to previous authorities, they paid no attention to it. The Chinese built on a water hydrant, which is making it unaccessible for it in case of... Can you hear me?
I can hear you, although the line is still difficult. So you mean, let me hopefully summarize what you're saying. There is a fire hydrant and a Chinese national, you are alleging, has built around the fire hydrant. So it's making access to it difficult.
No access. They are putting up a structure, locked. You cannot have access to the hydrant. That's what I'm trying to say. So we are saying that fire has gathered the place, but how the place got burnt, if the fire doesn't even who came from outside, if they have had access to that hydrant, I'm not sure the damage would have gone this extent. So we are pleading with authorities. Okay, we are pleading with the people who live there. We are not in support of. You can't help that. Have no place to live nowhere, nothing at all. Everything that got bent, got down, nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. There's nothing. It became just a field. The place has become just a football field. So having no place to sleep, having no where to go, help them in, and maybe if a shelter or anything that they can help them find. I understand the regional minister also came in to also commensurate with the people there, but our plea as a leader here is that government should come in. If there's a way they can build the place, inventory, build the place well for them, or allow them to put it up well, so that they can live in case of anything, and or educate them as to how they should run things over the fine. But to say that let's collect them and then rebuild the place or something like that, in fact, I'm not in support of that. I'm not in support.
Wow, that is very difficult, and I appreciate the fact that you are asking for help and assistance for your members. But if we are having repeated fire incidents, then it means that something is happening, something is amiss. We are not getting something right. So what would your advice be to the people there, that if even they are allowed to build the place on their own, how can they also ensure that we do not have these kind of fire incidents? Because it destroys even people who may not be associated with it. So how can we prevent this from happening in the future?
I'm most grateful. That's a very nice question. I think there are two things. I'll say three things. You see, most of the supposed that operate there, some of them cook they cook food. Some of them use light to also operate. I rather advise that in case they're going for it, just suppose this thing actually started from one Nigerian shop. Most of them are not that preview to the danger gas can cause. When they educate them about their fire and other things. The way the place is built and the way the place has been before, I think education, electrical education and fire education will be the best. Government to do well to educate the people who cook there, who are using electricity to do other businesses well, so that all of this. The first one that occurred,
it happened. It is the second time, but not in the same place. So this was a different place. The one that happened is in the VVIP yard 2 times, the same yard. That's the Chinese one I'm talking about. His yard was burnt twice, the same month. But this is only the first time. Where they are, this is the first time. So I would rather plead that, be it the Chinese man or all the people who trade and do other businesses with gas and electricity, government should find a way to come and educate them. And the danger for when they're doing and gas and other things. So that's not true, man. So the municipal and there was the Ghana Fire Service, what's the name, the electricity company, and the Ghana police agencies that can in not more pleading. Yes, there is a decision, but now it needs to help.
Okay. Karim Adama, thank you so much for speaking to us on 3FM 92.7.
I'm all there, so thank you very much.
Right, he is one of the leaders of the Holy Garden Market Traders Association and was giving us his analysis of what must have happened, what may have caused this fire, and some advice to his own members in the association, and then also state security apparatus, including the fire service and the police service, and asking that they also help in the public education, and has also asked that laws be enforced where fire hydrants can be seen visibly to allow for assistance for the Ghana Fire Service in case we have any such emergencies. They can have easy access to the fire hydrants to help salvage the situation. He says, and he's alleging that there was a fire about a month ago and they couldn't access the fire hydrant because a Chinese national had built concrete around the hydrant, and the structure he has put up made it difficult to access the hydrant. So he's saying that they need to get access to the hydrant, and that individual, for instance, should be given some education or sanctioned if possible. But he disagrees with calls that all the traders be cleared from the site so that then the state can take responsibility in terms of putting up structures. He says they can rebuild, they may need assistance to do that, but they also need to be cautious of ensuring that we do not have fire incidents happening anytime again. Well, we know that the city authorities are listening to 3FM 92.7 right about this time and would be taking the right action to ensure that we do not have a recurrence of these situations. This is a hot edition. We are moving on to the story that many of you have been waiting for. Let's take a quick flight to the United States, shall we? And lawyers for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta disclosed that they will not hesitate to appeal any unfavorable ruling that comes out of the hearing of his client in the U.S. immigration issue. Former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is scheduled to appear before a United States court today, the 20th of January, following actions taken by U.S. immigration authorities over his legal status in the country. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, reportedly determined that Mr. Ofori-Atta no longer has lawful status to remain in the United States. This development could open the way for extradition proceedings to Ghana after the court hearing. Ken Ofori-Atta's case will be heard today at the Annandale Immigration Court in Virginia, and the former finance minister will join the hearing virtually from his detention center. Speaking on Accra-based radio station, lawyer Frank Davis, who is one of the lawyers for Ken Ofori-Atta in Ghana, says he is yet to receive correspondence from their legal team in the U.S. on the hearing. He also corresponded on a picketing action, or responded, I should say, to a picketing action by pressure group Arise Ghana at the frontage of the American Embassy, saying it is a needless act by those who are demonstrating. Let's listen to him.
You know, when people say things like that, and later on you take them home, you the same press men will come and say, journalists will come and say, we are gagging free speech and freedom of expression and all that. I'm not going to waste an inch of my time on that. I'm just telling you that when they come on radio and speak in this flippant manner, you have to caution them. Okay, the country belongs to all of us. Not one single person has more rights than anyone in this country. The country belongs to all of us. So when things of this sort happen, we have to take our time analyze the issues and get to the bottom of it. I not just run people down the way Benagona has just done. And when your reporter was cautioning him that it was an alleged something, he was going and on saying all kinds of things. You know, this populist behavior, I mean, look, there's better work for him to do than just be running around always being a street walker, organizing unnecessary protests and all that. There's better work for him to do. So we should stop this thing. Sometimes it becomes very, very annoying. You know, when people just throw people's reputation down the line that way. He talked about the National Cathedral. Has he read Siraj's findings on the National Cathedral? Has he read it? Has he read the findings of Siraj on the National Cathedral? I mean, sometimes we should be cautious the way we speak. And when it's public and you're a political figure, we should be careful. And now we come to Ken. Well, so far as I'm concerned, our American counterparts have not told us anything. I want to believe that either the hearing is in progress or they were just about to comment. But I've seen certain things on social media that the federal court has called a petition and he's supposed to come to Ghana either with the next flight or tomorrow. You know, when people have limited or no knowledge at all about issues, they should not jump onto themselves and say all manner of things. So far as I'm concerned, I haven't had any useful update from the counterpart lawyers in America. So we are waiting what they will tell us. So far as I'm concerned, nothing has happened thus far. If there has been a hearing and all of that should be relayed to us. And let me put it out there that whatever decision is taken by any cause of fairness, you can see what. So we should all take our time and let the process go.
And you heard the voice of Frank Davis, who is one of the lawyers here in Ghana, representing Ken Ofori-Atta, who is expected probably around this time. They may be ending that appearance at the court in the United States of America, specifically in Virginia, where he is expected to know his fate by end of day. Would he be given an extension of his visa to remain in the United States, or he will be deported to Ghana? We are yet to get updates on that, and we will update you as well when we do get them. Meanwhile, members of pressure group Arise Ghana say they are incensed at the continuous stay of former finance minister overseas, demanding urgent action from the United States authorities for his extradition. They mounted a spirited protest at the premises of the U.S. Embassy in Accra, holding placards bearing strong-worded inscriptions asking Ken Ofori-Atta to avoid evading justice and accountability. Christian Yali is our reporter who followed this story and has come through with his report.
The music played, the placards held, and the body language at the protest grounds opposite the U.S. Embassy tell one story. A group calling on United States authorities to cooperate with Ghanaian institutions to urgently bring back former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta.
Ken's suffering visa overstay in the United States of America is not a worry to us. Our concern is that he must come to Ghana and face justice. To bring Ken Ofori-Atta will embolden current occupiers of state offices, that they can also steal whatever amount that they feel. And that when there is a change of government on the 6th of January, a day to the inauguration of a new president, they can all travel to the United States of America and will suffer consequences.
He took decisions that were injurious to the economic well-being of some Ghanaians. He signed contracts that were shady. He has the opportunity now to account to the good people of Ghana by answering all the charges, all the allegations, all the accusations.
In a striking move, even senior citizens braved the scorching sun to protest amid heavy police security.
We should bring him back to Ghana because there are so many questions you must come and answer. That is why we are here. We want to hear from them. So when they tell us something, then everything will be down. But if they don't bring him down, no, we can't accept it.
When you look here, you would realize that this is a a bold statement that has been made on this floor, which reads, "Bring Ken back, bring Ken back." And that's the kind of demand that Arise Ghana is making right in front of the U.S. Embassy.
Director of Field Operations for the United Party, Hobson Adoye, says the demand is simple.
We are all here. Who has gone to Ken Ofori-Atta's house that is going to kill him? Nobody is going to kill him. If you are afraid to sleep in Sawam, then bring all the monies. This country is in debt because of Ken Ofori-Atta. Look at the Eurobonds. Ken Ofori-Atta is not superhuman than all other persons. If today's court fail, we'll continue to pursue it till the time you come.
So you do not see more people coming here massing about the situation, or what they tell me is that it's not about numbers, it's about the issue, it's about what they are demanding, and it's about what they are requesting, and which is what they have brought here, demanding that the U.S. authorities do one thing, just one thing, deport or extradite Ken Ofori-Atta back to this country.
They found space on the floor to protest and say they will continue until officials at the U.S. Embassy convey their message to the relevant authorities overseas.
And that report was put together by Christian Yali, who was at the premises of the United States Embassy, where he reported that a number of Ghanaians had turned up. Members of the Arise Ghana pressure group had turned up to more or less ask or demand that Ken Ofori-Atta be deported to the country. Well, we will update you on what happens in court later in the day, or just stay tuned to all our social media platforms. You definitely get the update when we do get them as regards how the court proceedings played out or ended in the United States of America. And talking about the United States of America, the Ghana's representative when it comes to diplomatic issues, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has been fleeced and bastardized by the minority in parliament. What exactly have they been saying? Well, that is our next story now. And the minority in parliament is demanding the immediate removal of Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa over diplomatic infractions that has led to the U.S. placing temporary immigration visa bans on Ghana and 74 other countries. Before we bring you that story, let's take a step back to our earlier story having to do with the demand that Arise Ghana was seeking from the U.S. Embassy here in Ghana. Prince Derek J is one of the conveners. Mr. Derek J, good evening. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Good evening.
We know that you turned up in your numbers, Arise Ghana that is. What would your assessment of today's picketing be?
Well, we set out to do something very simple. First and foremost, draw the attention of the U.S. Embassy and the people of the United States of America that their laws matter and ours also does matter, especially accountability, probity, and accounting for one's stewardship once you are given the opportunity to serve in public office. Ken Ofori-Atta, a citizen of Ghana and a former Minister of Finance, is illegally in the U.S. according to the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, ICE. Ordinarily, when ICE arrests anybody who has overstayed their visas, they are deported instantly. You are not allowed even to go to your house to collect your clothing or any other stuff. More than a week ago, Finance Minister was arrested under the pretext of having overstayed his visa or his visa having been revoked. So he's long overdue in terms of his return to Ghana. And so if he's overstayed his welcome in the U.S., we expect that he should be here. And in addition to that, we are informed that the FBI was looking for him because of some extradition arrangements that the U.S. government and the government of the Republic of Ghana were in negotiations over. Whichever way, we expect Ken back home. Whether deported, extradited, whatever else it is, he must come home. I want him back quick, so deportation is the best fastest. And so if we have two options, we would want to see today's trial in the U.S. yield fruits that will be inuring to the benefit of Ghanaians who are looking for Ken to come back home and face justice. A lot of our money has been spirited, and he was holding a public purse. Whether he spirited the money or others spirited the money, it was under his watch. We are not saying he's guilty, but we think that he's entitled to fair trial, which has already been guaranteed by the Attorney General and his deputy. And indeed, Lawyer Mante Pebu and others have given, ample notification that they will pursue any injustice done Ken when he arrives, because by law, within 48 hours, he should be granted bail.
Right.
And so he has nothing to fear. No Ghanaian wants to harm Ken. All we are interested in is the retrieval of the loot, all the loot, or should recover all loot. That's why Ghanaians voted overwhelmingly for President John Dramani Mahama, and we as Arise Ghana, having been party to the 2024 election cycle of ensuring that corruption, looting, and so on was done away with. We want to ensure that even as a new government is in place, we do not make this account the status quo or the new normal, that you serve and then you refuse to account.
Okay.
So once Ken back, and any other minister for that matter must also account, including even current government ministers if that should arise. And so Rise Ghana organized a picketing. We did not do a massive one today because we are doing an indefinite picketing. We use today to calibrate and do our recce. We have seen the terrain, we have interacted with the police, we have defined our space and all that, where people can be and all that. So from tomorrow, when the numbers show up, we know where to deploy everybody without having to unduly affect those who are going for visa applications. We believe that Ghanaians will freely go about their normal travel out of this country. But when they travel, they should return. And Ghana is becoming a very bad example. We know the World Cup is coming, and most Ghanaians would want to go and see various matches in the U.S., Canada, and
So beyond today, we should expect that you'll be there tomorrow as well.
Americans think that Ghanaians would not want to return. It would affect us. So we would not want to interfere with any of such things, and we would want to be law-abiding citizens as we've always been.
And finally, you were there today. I mean, from what you're saying, it will continue tomorrow until when exactly?
Yeah, until Ken returns to Ghana. We indicated to the police we are doing an indefinite. They pleaded with us, and we have agreed that we're having 2-week tranches. So the first set, which we started today, will continue tomorrow from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day for 2 weeks. But if Ken returns tomorrow, we will stop. If he returns the day after, we'll stop. Whenever he returns, not when he's employed. We want to see Ken's name touch down in Ghana and him handed over to the authorities in Ghana. Then we'll welcome him at the airport and end all of this. If, however, he doesn't show up, and it's about 5 days to the time, we'll reapply for another extension of 2 weeks, and to continue till Ken returns. We want Ken back home. He has a home in Ghana. We actually took the liberty of visiting one of such homes at the Cantonment Civil Aviation area, and we saw alleged buildings belonging to former President Akufo-Addo and his family, former Vice President Bamia and his family, Ken's own, Sofa Kufu, Georgina Wood, Addison, and these are state lands that were earmarked for civil aviation purposes. Unfortunately, it is shared among colleagues and government officials, and that is what we all found on in 2024. That is what ORA was all about, and we expect that the media will follow all this, and we expect that the government will retrieve all this looted state-acquired lands.
Okay.
If the owners do not show up,
thank you.
Then we will occupy them.
Okay, thank you so much. And like you said, we would also be keeping close tabs on this and update the nation on your next line of action. Prince Derek Ajay is a convener of Arise Ghana, and they were at the U.S. Embassy earlier today. If you did join them, do let us know how the experience was. And their demand is simple. Ken Ofori-Atta should return to Ghana. And just before we go on to some other stories, let's bring you this, which is that the minority in Parliament is demanding the immediate removal of Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa over diplomatic infractions that has led to the U.S. placing temporary immigrant visa bans on Ghana and 74 other countries. They allude that under his tenure, he speaks quickly, absolutely, and recklessly, which has destroyed Ghana's hard-won reputation. George Quinning has the rest of the story.
U.S. President Donald Trump has placed temporary ban on immigrant visas for some 75 countries, and Ghana as part of them. According to the minority, this is as a result of the recklessness of the Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. Under his tenure, they say he speaks absolutely, quickly and recklessly. And so they want the Foreign Affairs Minister to go.
We cannot continue down this path. The national interests demand change. The welfare of millions of Ghanaians demand it. Ghana's reputation in the world demand it. Your foreign minister have outlived his usefulness. He values applause over achievement, rhetorics over results, and most damningly, his pattern of reckless diplomacy has made Ghana less safe, less respected, and more vulnerable on the international stage. The minority therefore calls on you, Your Excellency, to remove Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa from the foreign minister's portfolio immediately and appoint in place a competent diplomat, a proven experience, a steady judgment, and the new person of commitment to Ghana's long-term standing interest over personal political theater.
Leading the minority was the deputy ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Nana Asafo Aye, who asked the president to recall Ghana's ambassador to the U.S., Victor Smith, over similar diplomatic infractions.
Ambassador Smith has apparently forgotten that his job is not to be the government propaganda chief in America. His job is to protect Ghana's interest in Washington, to engage, to negotiate, to prevent disasters like this visa freeze. He has failed catastrophically. President Mahama must recall him immediately. Ghana cannot afford ambassadors who prioritizes press release breaching confidentiality on consular services over diplomatic engagement when our national interests hang in the balance.
As part of their demands, the minority is asking for an immediate public accountability, that's within 7 days, and the employment of a direct diplomatic envoy, and accountability and leadership change. George Queening, Parliament House, Accra.
And on the note of that, we are getting ready to bring you the latest in the world of sports, and Oreku Ampofo will join us for that. This is 3FM 92.7. You've been listening to Hot Edition.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Oreku Ampofo. Let's start with some news from the continent, where the triumphant Senegalese team received a hero's welcome during its parade in the capital, Dakar, on Tuesday following their victory in a 10th Africa Cup of Nations final that saw some players briefly walk off the pitch to protest a penalty decision deep into second half stoppage time before beating Morocco by 1-0. The team rode slowly through Dakar in an open-top bus in the afternoon, greeted by deafening sounds of vuvuzelas, car horns and festive chants from tens of thousands of fans, many wearing Senegalese jerseys. Standing atop of a double-decker bus, players took turn hoisting the trophy and a Senegalese flag, clapping and waving to the crowd. Fans climbed on billboards and car roofs for a glimpse of the champions, using any vantage point that they could find to see their Lions of Teranga. We still stay on the African continent, where a magistrate court in Sagamu, Ogun State, has adjourned the case until February 2025. That's the trial of Adeniyi Kayode, who is the driver involved in the fatal crash that killed 2 aides of former boxing champion Anthony Joshua, who is facing Kayode. He's facing 4 counts, including dangerous and reckless driving causing death, was earlier granted 5 million naira bail. The prosecution sought an adjournment to transmit the case file to the Attorney General's office for legal advice, a request granted by the court despite opposition from the defense. Now, away from that, we head to Europe, where the UEFA Champions League returned earlier today after a brief break for the league phase conclusion, with Club Brugge cruising to a 4-1 victory over Kairat Almaty. Manchester City are currently in action in Norway against Bodo Glimt. Later tonight, Copenhagen face Manchester City. Inter Milan host Arsenal in what should be the tie of the round. Olympiacos take on Bayer Leverkusen. Real Madrid welcome AS Monaco. Sporting CP clash with Paris Saint-Germain. Tottenham face Borussia Dortmund, while Villarreal play against Ajax. Now, ahead of the headline fixture, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta admits the test against the Italian side will be tough, but insists his side are fully prepared for the challenge.
Well, a very similar context to last year. Obviously, where the two teams are at the moment is a bit different. New manager as well, that I think has given them some other things in their identity and the way they play. But obviously, we know a super competitive team, a team that is dominating the league, and a really tough game.
Well, that was Mikel Arteta speaking there, bringing an end to the sports segment here on Hot Edition. You can get some more sports updates on our social media handles at 3Sports. My name is Ore Kwampofo, and this also brings an end to Hot Edition here on 3FM 92.7. We're back again same time tomorrow with the latest news in Ghana, across the continent and the globe.